How does it happen? Why would a drug dealer want to kill their client? Experts say it's a bad business plan, while Gwinnett County Medical Examiner Dr. Carol Terry says it just doesn't make sense. In fact, she's seen an increase in victims who have died from fentanyl coming to her morgue, while police are going undercover to find the drug dealers responsible. Here's that story.
And to abuse fentanyl is basically like playing Russian roulette. It's very, I guess, humbling for me to see just on a daily basis a whole segment of society that seems to just be dying off.
In real time, Gwinnett Medical Examiner Dr. Carol Terry is also seeing the real faces of the fentanyl crisis.
This is driving my workload. I mean, our numbers have just skyrocketed in the past few years.
How so? Take a look at these numbers. Terry says in 2012, there were 2 deaths attributed to fentanyl in Gwinnett. The following year, 3 deaths. In 2014, 4 deaths between October and December of that year. Now,
in 2022, we had 527 overdoses, and 135 of those were fatal overdoses. This year, so far, we're in June now, we've had 246 overdoses, and 74 of those have been fatal. So just based on statistics right now, we're already set up to surpass last year's statistics.
Because of his undercover work in the Gwinnett Police Narcotics Unit, we've hidden this officer's face and disguised his voice. He says drug dealers are passing fentanyl as a Percocet, little blue pills marked with the letter M and the number 30 on the back.
Fentanyl, it's been around for a while. It's a synthetic opiate, and so it's man-made. You can manufacture it in a lab. It's usually in a liquid form if it's being used in a hospital or by some EMS services. But on the street, it's most likely going to be found as some kind of powder. And when you're talking about a powder, I mean, you can mix that and make it look like anything.
And fentanyl, experts say, is found in just about everything.
We're seeing it in combination with heroin, methamphetamine, cocaine, marijuana.
Officer Hadashi Valier worked narcotics in Gwinnett, making one of the biggest drug busts in the county.
Well, a lot of things that we're seeing is the rise in the sale of Percocets that are pressed, because getting those items needed to create that fake drug is very easy to get. You just go online and purchase it, and then it gets shipped to your house.
When fentanyl is used appropriately for medical purposes in a hospital setting or in a medical setting, it's a fine drug. I mean, it's used for pain management, it's used for surgical procedures, but where it is particularly dangerous is when it is produced illicitly and distributed illicitly.
How? Why? Why did you?
So Gwinnett County, if you look at it just geographically, we have a close proximity to Atlanta, and one of the Southeast's biggest thoroughfares, Interstate 85, right? It cuts right through the county. You can't get anywhere from Atlanta, to really anywhere else in the Southeast United States. If you're going north to the Carolinas, you have to go through Gwinnett County to get to Atlanta.
The Drug Enforcement Agency, or DEA, website says fentanyl is, quote, smuggled across the U.S.-Mexico border in low-concentration, high-volume loads, end quote. Here locally, police say borders and thoroughfares aren't the only way dealers transport their product.
A big thing is social media. So monitoring who they're associating themselves with on social media, who are their friends, who are their parents, who are they associating with? Because it's no longer where you can just send your kid out and trust that nobody's going to approach them and try to sell them drugs that they could overdose on. But now it's in pop culture, it's in music, it's in media that kids consume every day.
Death by design, and a harrowing trend that shows no signs of slowing down.
But it's very cheap to produce, and so you have people who are increasing their profit margins, 5 times, 10 times, just by incorporating fentanyl into a product.
A lot of people want to focus on young people, and it's not so much a young person thing, because typically it's people who have a history of drug use, or it's people who have a history of chronic pain, and then maybe can't get prescription medication. Maybe they don't have insurance.
Law enforcement engage around the clock to find answers for the bigger picture, for a bad business plan that's impacting our hearts and homes. Of note, the Gwinnett County District Attorney's Office is actually going after drug dealers. In fact, 3 drug dealers were indicted for felony murder charges last year. Aside from that glimmer of hope, there is also hope for victims and their families. Watch this.
Narcan is now readily available. Narcan is the medication that reverses the opioid overdose. You know, there is a way to support our communities. There's a way to curb the tide. I do believe that.
Until next time, I'm Deborah Tuff.